Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's a crypto and PayPal link in the info box below the video. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you missed the first show, it will also replay as a premiere on my second channel. There is a link in the info box to Nathan Oakley channel. Also, we are joined by The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Physics Warrior, Music, Earth Flattener, or Flattener Earth, Haunted House, Eric, Chocolate Saying, and Warren. Good to have you all.
Morning.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Fighting the good fight.
Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you are.
Hello, hello. So we didn't do housekeeping on the last show on account of the fact that when we got to curvature, it was alleged that Red's rhetoric, if using the begging the question fallacy that the Earth is a sphere before you've even proven it, then the obstruction he accounted for when a closer distance from the observed buildings at a wider angle compared with a blink test to a much narrower angle at a much further distance apparently proved curvature. We went through that on the whole show and basically ripped it a new one. Came to the conclusion that Red Rhetoric's an idiot, and pointed out that you do need to account for the angles of things when you are viewing anything at any distance. So, given that being the case, I'll ask again, is there any signs of curvature?
No.
There's no curvature. No.
None, Nathan.
None at all, anywhere.
Bummer. What about axial rotation?
No.
Who's the guy we're talking about? Red's what? Red's
Rhetoric.
oh, that guy, rhetoric. Oh, yeah. He's small change though. This is a big shit.
Well, he's definitely out of touch with the angle of attack argument and the angular size resolution Rayleigh criteria. All of these things he's obviously completely ignored and just gone back to arguments from 6 months ago. Pathetic. There we go. Reds. Don't need to present things in an orthographic view. That's how you're hijacking perspective, my friend. Assuming that there's a radius. Yeah, that's called begging the question. Do you not remember me telling you to come in here so I could rape you with R? Do you not remember? My God, you've got a short memory, Red Rhetoric. It's pathetic. Anyway, what about any evidence that you can have a gas pressure without a container for all the people that believe in space being a vacuum?
Oh, no,
I
no.
spoke to someone about this, Nathan.
Absolutely not.
He's an engineer for a scientific balloon facility. And I said, what are we dealing with when it comes to the Kármán line? Are we dealing with a change in, like, okay, if we were to take a spacecraft like a helicopter and get to Kármán line starts 350,000 feet, is there a point where you could jump out and just float? And he said, well, the people you see in the ISS, they're moving around like that because the ISS is moving. And I said, okay, but does anyone really know where that point, that transition is? And he said, well, it really depends on the political situation that's at hand. He said it's more about, it has some degree of science, but it really has more political implications.
You said it was a political thing?
Yeah. Like, in other words, switching that thing around, up or down, is, I guess, really going to be dependent on how much they're going to be talking about it, how relevant it is.
Because you're messing with the paradigm.
Right. So I think
It's
these engineers are hip
necessary
to what's
for the
moving.
paradigm to work.
Yeah, the paradigm has switches and knobs and faders and all this stuff. There are people that have access to the mixing console, and they're gonna change the information when they need to. And if we don't say stuff about it and make a stink about it,
Neil deGrasse Tyson's perfect example of that. With the
well, he's a celebrity scientist.
oblate pair thing, and yet, I mean, that's perfect. It's a baller. Then you hear Tyson say it's a pair. So,
Well, he didn't. But what he was implying is that it's a pear shape, but not. It's just a little bit pear shaped. Like he said, it's not a sphere; it's an imperfect sphere, and it's not something we could even notice. I think. I don't really appeal to him because that's not where it's at. There are hidden back doors to get in to change the information needs to be changed. And I think there are people willing to change it if the right tests are done. They have balloons that are doing 100-day trips. They go up to the float level, and then they pass them up to 150,000 feet. For some reason, there's no reason for them to go any higher than that. They don't. That's as high as they need to go. I think it might be a communication breakdown. And there's no satellites. The satellite, we've been taught, is really just the balloon. And it's funny because after looking into this, I'm kind of getting the feeling like they're saying, well, didn't you? Yeah, duh. Of course it's balloons. Because nobody ever said it was a floating thing, a floating device in space. It was just shown and implied that. And it was probably implied and shown to us by other agencies. And they do show those little, the thing coming out of the shuttle and like spinning around and all that business. Who knows what the hell that is, but everything takes off from the ground. And the balloon technology it can bring 8,000 pounds. That's like 4 cars up to 90,000 feet and keep it there for like a month. That's crazy. That means if we had some kind of vehicle that get us up there and fly around, we would see these things just hanging out.
Well, that's a good. I've always asked why
look a ballroom after a dance. All the balloons stuck to the ceiling. Sorry to cut you off.
No, but I've always asked for somebody to explain why our traditional commercial airliners just don't go up a bit higher. If it's thinner atmosphere, there'd be less resistance. Flight times, fuel. Like why? Why are we still at this cruising altitude for
harder because the plane needs the resistance to fly. If the air thins out anymore, I don't think the engines are going to be able to work. I don't think anything really works. That's the problem. The helium doesn't work.
Hang on. That can't be true because Concorde flew at double the height.
Right. Well, I was just going to say
it wasn't at 120.
Well, I don't know. Listen, I'm just saying there's something doesn't jive in this theory. Like, why not make? Yeah. Why did we get rid of the Concorde if it could go higher?
Well, Concorde flew at 70, so it's like double the height of a normal passenger jet. Oh, by the way, did you know that Wolfie's a pilot?
Oh
yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. Karen said that, right?
Yeah.
Did you have any videos of him in a cockpit boarding a plane and flying it?
Just going back to the Concorde point, isn't it? It's smaller, so it can go higher because it has less mass, right?
Well, whatever the reasons, I'm just saying, why haven't we raised the standard cruising altitude on commercial flights? If it just seems like economically and time, I don't get it. There's something
I think there's air traffic. There's regulations. The FAA regulates where they need to be.
Well, of course. I mean, they're highways.
That's going to be like their call. I'm sure it's not a conspiratorial thing. It could be communications are too expensive. I don't know. Maybe they haven't. It could be an anomaly like 60,000, or I don't know why I'm saying 60,000. 30,000 feet is just a sweet spot where they find that that's the best place to fly. I keep seeing these advertisements for get to space in that whatever the hell it is, that big balloon, that bubbly looking device. It's like a gondola. When NASA says it's going to happen when the technology arrives, that's another way for them saying this will never happen. And we're all crestfallen here at NASA. It's sad about it.
It's just that, you know, if orbital mechanics was a thing, it just seems like, you know, transcontinental air travel would be using orbital mechanics a long time ago.
When NASA say that, it's also saying we're going to take more money off you to support paying for it.
Well, the owners of the jets, they might be part of this too, because airports don't own the airplane.
There's only two in the West. You know, it's like Coke and Pepsi, Apple and Google. It's always two, Democrat, Republican. You know, I mean, who does commercial air? Boeing and Airbus. And then, you know, a couple of years, Boeing's on top on the stock market. And they're innovators. And then they go down, and then Airbus comes up and sells a bunch of things to the Middle East or whatever. So it's always two. Always two. Where's the third one? Where's the fourth?
Well, maybe they do it right. I don't know. There's a lot of private. My brother works in this field, and I could go full retard on him. It doesn't matter. I can go. So he's a family member. He knows I'm into this stuff. I didn't get a chance to ask him about the whole gas tank stuff and flying these airplanes. It's really interesting. I never thought to like use a compressor while flying a plane. Because I have one sitting right over there, and if I aimed the nozzle, the air nozzle, if I aimed it at the fan, I guess it could spin the armature and power itself. But if it powered itself, I wouldn't be able to use it. Like it would just, you know, how would I get to you? I would need to take, like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
It would look like sticking the hose back into, well, yeah, you would take the hose and stick it back into it, and then you'd have nothing to use it for, like, you know, air tools.
Well, like they say, you mix a little, you know, you mix in a little truth and spin a lie. So the whole thing with the fuel, and I'm not sure if the planes are using some sort of compressed air. I don't think it's the sole propel. So I think it might be mixed.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there are tanks underneath the plane.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen.
It could be electric. It could be electric.
See it fuel it. I'm sure there's fuel. I mean, those guys can't. You know, those guys that are making minimum whatever that are fueling the plane.
They're not making minimum wage.
I'm going to be really honest because I used to work at an airport.
Hey, none of that stuff. This is a truth community, man. Put that on stuff somewhere else.
My bad. But yeah, I used to work at an airport, and I used to load the bags and stuff. And I don't know. I would say that this whole thing with the fuel is very interesting to me because knowing how big the compartments are for the bags, it doesn't seem feasible to me that they would have tanks.
What do you want, a stapler factory?
Even in the fuselage, big enough to hold all that fuel. So now when you're talking about that, and then you also say with the wings, because the wings, I used to watch these guys fuel up the planes into the wings. That's how they fuel them up. And I would always sit there like, how is it possible that these things could be filling up with fuel? Because the wings are so thin. You know,
I mean, who's looked out the window when you're going down the runway and those wings they're kind of flapping. I always wondered that, like, they're so lightweight. They look like they would just snap off in a tornado or something.
Yeah.
You ever watch the wings?
The fuel's also being used rapidly too. It's also in flux, so it's not still water, like bouncing. And what gets me is it says no step. I use this for 9/11. It says no step because if a 180-pound man steps on that wing, he's going to go right through it, but it can cut through steel. Oh man.
Yeah, that's it. I always laugh at that. No step. Like, really? What the little sticker that's on the wings?
So, as we've moved off topic slightly, any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No.
There is no distance.
It's gonna be a hard one.
Anybody?
No.
There is none.
No.
What about any scientific evidence of gravity?
No.
And no need
What
for it. No need for gravity.
You mean weight?
What they call it. Relative density. No.
No evidence and no need for it to make things work. No
Any
need.
evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Oh, wait. No.
I confess, I was down there earlier.
No.
And it stinks.
So if anybody ever brings up the gravity point, just ask them straight, how are you going to contrast the gravity against the density of the object in question? Because they've got to show that the density is causing one thing, but then there's a little bit on top that's the gravity bit. How are they going to show that? No one can do it.
Well, at the end of the day, they can keep the gravity and it'll still be flat.
Nah, they can't
just
keep the
miss
gravity. No, I don't agree with that. They can't keep the gravity because they can't prove that it's true. And they need to have gravity for the water to stick to the outside.
What they say it does is incorrect. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's like they're saying it does this thing where it sucks balls into balls and all this craziness. It's like, back off that, and you can gravity. Yeah, we fall and all that shit.
Yeah, but the problem is they keep throwing it back at us. Like that's how they explain how we have a gas pressure next to a vacuum. You ask them how that's possible, and they say gravity. So
it's actually
there's no way we can avoid it.
It's good that they do throw it at us though, because we can knock it right down, and it's always the first thing that pops up. So it's as clever as they thought it would be.
I agree.
Yeah. Also
it only helps us with our arguments.
I guess if they want to use a single word, gravity, to explain to suggest that density, buoyancy, mass, the mediums, if they obsessed with one word to explain it, okay, yeah, that's gravity. It's a combination of all these things, but it's not something pulling things into balls in space.
Right. Yeah. Anything out of our view, to me, is irrelevant anyway. It's like, yeah, I was there before, but now I'm here. So it's like the sun never sets, sun never rises. It's us. We dictate where things are.
It's not a force that creates balls in space. It's just there's no proof for that.
I really think after seeing the documentary on the Skinwalker Ranch and all the reports of hearing mechanical noises coming from underground, I really do think that there's more to what they say over in the Midwest in terms of like these bases that they built. I think that's part distraction, part craziness, part truth. But if all the stories are true about this place, then it seems to me that there's something to be looked at over there. I would love to go out there and check it out. And I highly suggest people watch that new documentary. It came out like a month ago called Hunt for the Skinwalker or something like that. Robbie Williams was in it. Apparently he's a truth seeker. I had no idea it was him because he had like a hat on, and he was with these like investigators, part of the team that owns the facility now, and they're like surveillance guys with beards and machine guns. And then he started talking, and it came up, Robbie Williams, artist, musician, seeker. But some of the stories are crazy. Lights appearing out of nowhere. But no one ever said that. Everyone's like, but there was nothing above our head. It's like, well, what about the ground? And all the different people talking about rumbling coming from the ground vibrating, hearing stuff coming from beneath the ground, animals disappearing, like cattle just reappearing, being put back, stuff being rearranged inside the house, like repeats, mirror images of things, light emitting orbs that apparently changed your mood to like happy, depressed, blue orbs, yellow orbs. I have no problem with any of this stuff. I haven't seen it. I haven't experienced it myself, but
That
I know
sounds
it's
like a fun place.
tough to deal with. Like communicate. I don't think you really can communicate it. I think when you have an experience like that, you can only keep it to yourself, which kind of sucks, but that's the name of the game. Humans can't live with that, but this is what they deal with when they try to tell the story. Yeah, I filmed something in the sky that floated over. It was going way too slow to be jet propelled. And if
So
they
you
had,
filmed it?
yeah, I have it on my channel. When I saw it, I said, I don't know what that is, and that's insane. And I grabbed my phone and caught it just like a dot. It wasn't a balloon. It was a straight line. It was a sphere. It looked like it was silver. Little bit reflective, but then again, I rule out anything that when the sun's out and a metallic object is in the sky, all bets are off. It disappears and reappears all based on reflection. I've detailed cars before where it starts to become an image. So as your car disappears, the better it's going to look, because it's now representing what it's mirroring. So an airplane is just mirroring above it and below it, and yeah, they can probably use that to cloak it. But these days, man, if they're building 7,
at least you got to film it, man. The one time I saw some craziness in the sky, I went outside without my phone. It was the worst thing.
It's nothing incredible. It's kind of just kind of innocuous, but it's there, and you can see it. It was it was exciting in my head, like I was over the Bergen Mall, and that's really the only thing I've ever seen. Something flew over the house the other day that it was the loudest object I've ever heard before in my life, but I couldn't see it. Okay, filmed an orb. Here we go. Let me
We're almost done with housekeeping. If there's any evidence of the R value.
Nope.
Earth radius, anybody?
No, absolutely none.
For R, we need some curvature. We don't have curvature.
How would we get that when there's no evidence of yeah. what Chocolate just said. So no evidence.
Exactly right. It's that simple.
Well, 20 minutes in. Conclude the housekeeping. Superb.
all right, come on. Man, oh man. Ever since I downloaded Final Cut Pro, computers.
Why is it so somber today?
It's because Arwin's not talking about gravity.
It's Mundi.
Well,
all right, here we go. Ready to have your mind sucked out the back?
Let's just remind folk that the Red's Rhetoric most recent video, we've claimed it. It's ours. It's demonstrated to be squashed. There's a little bit of maths in there to work it out as well. Definitely not the curvature of the Earth.
Just don't validate that dude, man. He's bad element.
No, he's bad, but we can claim his work as ours now. And that's what we want to do. We want to tell everybody that that's actually a flat Earth proof, not a ball Earth proof.
But that's how they come up with their ball Earth proof. A little bit of math, a little bit of sugar and spice, some chemical X, and they have curvature.
Not chemical X, it's R. They just assume R. So they assume the Earth is a sphere, and therefore what they observe is caused by the Earth being a sphere. So they assume their outcome. Just begging the question.
The thing is, yeah, you guys done an amazing job. like getting this down to like a science. So what do you guys think this thing is?
Not science.
What this? Well,
You guys see it right here, right?
It does look like something is cloaked.
Ironically, it looks like a sphere.
Yeah,
sphere
that little guy right there. I don't know why my phone was doing this. I guess it was sort of trying to resolve, so it'll pull back, but I couldn't see because the sun was like in my face. There it is again.
That's cool as hell, man.
This little guy, man, it was quiet. It was just, and when the plane flies over, I was thinking maybe I'll get like a reference, like just to show like the size, like this guy. I'm like, where the fuck is it? So I don't know. You know, there are drones that are. I guess you could have something like a spherical drone that's operating by fans, or with maybe a prop blade and exhaust out the top. I don't know. But there's stuff in the sky all the time. I think most of it is just our. I think all of it is our, military, Area 51.
Hunter, you ever look at the sky through night vision?
No, but I hear that that's incredible. If you can get some,
I want to do that very badly. Yeah,
see this flame?
That's my mission, is to get some night vision goggles.
This flame is wow. The footage is really crappy right here. This is from a couple years ago. This is like a 10-15 foot flame coming out of a methane release. These are the landfills in the Meadowlands that they covered over with earth. Like, it was garbage to the point where like you could see the broken refrigerators and just like white, red, all the colors. And now it's
around that part. You live around the Meadowlands?
This is by Schuyler, by Clifton.
Every time I drive through there, it's just I feel dirty.
Who's talking right now?
Eric.
Are you live in Jersey?
Well, no, I used to live in the city, and just I go through there once in a while. It's North Jersey's nice, but the Meadowlands. Ooh.
So you were on Route 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you passed by where this was.
Right.
There is an observatory over there, but the first time I found this place, I just, I was dying to know what the hell was down this road, because all of a sudden it gets a little gravelly. And then you get to a spot where there's just an abandoned baseball field off into the distance. And then you see then there's some train tracks. And then you keep going and the road splits. And there were potholes that would have eaten a car. And I'm like, holy crap, that indicates to me that this is not, probably shouldn't be here. This is a closed road or whatever. It's an access road.
Mm.
And I kept on going down, and there was nobody around, but it seemed like the lights were on. And the smell in the air was like, the smell of underneath your sink, a little bit of cleaner, a little bit of chemical, that bleach, that sort of thing. That was in the air. And that flame, I'm just looking at it. I shut my car off, and it was dead silence. And that flame was just like, big, blue, wispy, crazy looking surreal flame. And just stuff was broken all over the place, glass everywhere. They had like one of those mobile offices. And this kind of thing is all over New Jersey. It's, the guys who made that, you guys wouldn't have heard of it. They've pretty much made a publication called Weird New Jersey. It's all about abandoned stuff and cool stuff to do. Gravity Hill. You guys have those in England? The ones where
it's just an optical illusion.
It's just an optical illusion. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like my folks used to live in a part of Wales where there was loads of them. There's a few that get a fair bit of publicity because people actually travel to them to see the effect, but it is just an optical illusion.
It's like a curve. It's like a tube almost. It's like you're not rolling down a hill. You're rolling down an area of the road. But don't you guys have dolmens out there, and like the fields of like Dover or something like that? Like those spots where you can enter the earth, like there are cavernous spots and little like rock setups.
Okay,
Teetering. Did you say Hague?
Caves. I was being facetious.
Oh, yeah, I guess dolmens. There's another name for these things. The dolmens of Russia. Okay. You know, there's a whole society of these megalith people, and they're really into this sort of thing. And I think they're at the point where Michael Tellinger is coming around, and he did a really good job of leveling. Like, let's get it straight to people. Like, when NASA shows you things, this isn't real, you know. And he's got enough in his head to explain history. His take on the ruins, or that they're very reminiscent of like microchips and motherboards. It's a little far-fetched for me, but yeah, it could be power plants. I think that's very plausible. You know, when you got nothing else to work with, I think. I don't know why our generation is all metal and plastic. Where's all the rest? Where the hell is everything?
Where's the stone?
Like, where it's all underneath us, I think. You know, when you see those things that are carved out of rock, I think that is because it's been dumped. It's been mudded over, mud flooded. But like, where the hell is everything? Shit.
Well, the problem with this stuff you're talking about now is a lot of people are, you know, talking about this, and then they're using Google Earth and finding.
I know, right? Oh, here's another thing. You just reminded me of something. For all the flat earthers out there who are saying, don't believe anything you hear, and then they go, well, the Earth is 70% water, and water doesn't curve. It's like, you can't say that. You can't say the Earth is 70% water.
I see that mistake a lot. A lot of people. It's like, really? Do we even know that?
It's like, we don't trust them some of the time. Like, no, that one's got to go too.
Yeah, we don't know diddly squat about what this is.
And be careful who you say does water bend to, because some people really take offense to that. You know, because you're implying, like, what are you, an idiot? Like, we all know water doesn't bend.
Back to that woman that went with that big advertising banner. What do you call those? Like trade show? I forget that term. God, I should know it.
SEMA? Yeah, the shoes in the borough hall at the teachers' meeting.
Yeah.
You got to go in there with a brigade of people, like lawyers, suits, and like really get in there, shake things up, and have like a bunch of people outside. Look outside. Those are all the other people that are concerned with.
Well, I mean, I think there's other things to attack. Well, again, you don't want to be just flat Earth. I think evolution is a good one too, because you'll bring. I think a lot of people, especially in the West, you know, they're Christian or whatever, and they're more traditional, and they have a problem with that. I wouldn't get into the macro evolution. I just say, listen, maybe evolution is a thing, but you're teaching that, you know, we're from fish monkeys, and you have no evidence. Don't overcomplicate it with micro evolution. Most people aren't going to get that. Just say you have no evidence of a change in species. People can understand that. You have no evidence that a fish becomes a horse and then a monkey or whatever. I mean, it's nonsense. Don't get into micro.
They're going to say genetics now and all this. They're happy with their 99.8%. This girl said that to me. She was like, but it's 99.8%. I'm like, did you realize that that's not 100? You know, when you if it's 98% and you got to do it a million times, that little 1.5% is gonna add up over time.
Isn't it funny they don't even, like, in the science-oriented TV, they don't even talk about us looking for the missing link. Like, they've almost erased that. Now they've just, you know, genetics, and there it is. It's all found out. So they never want to talk about, nobody's ever found a missing link. All those Java man and all those nonsense were frauds, and it's even documented.
Piltdown man. Piltdown man.
These lunatics with their grants, and they're just, no, there's no evidence of.
And we're really small. Look at how small we are. So small.
But that's the question that ends. That's the question that ends that argument. So you say, what is your scientific evidence for evolution?
Oh, you mean asking the people who believe in evolution?
Years of science. Years of science.
Well, better
what
still,
about all the people working right now. Because that's the level of proof.
I would argue that there is some evidence that I'm fairly comfortable with, that the human brain has changed.
But why do we have to
say it can change? I'm okay with that, but that doesn't mean that a fish becomes a monkey.
Well, that's you can't be apprehensive with these people because they get twisted up. Why does it have to be answered? And they should hold their standards a lot higher, and then we wouldn't have so many like fake absolutes to deal with. You know, but apparently
absolutism is a dangerous thing. A lot of
it gets you money. It's like that's what, if people are gonna pay for something, they want a guarantee. So it's all up to us, you know. This isn't a powerful force against us. It's just our weakness they prey on, and our distraction.
Well, how about if we you know, everybody's, you know, if you're in a public meeting, you know, town square or a school board where the public's allowed, you know, hit him in the pocket. You know, everyone's paying school taxes, and if you bring, you know, you're wasting all this time and resources teaching kids about dinosaurs and fish monkey men and
do you have kids? Do you have kids?
Yeah, I do. I have a 11-year-old.
Did you homeschool for her?
No, my wife is Chinese. She still believes in university and the standard testing.
Is she from China? Like, is she born and raised?
She was born there, and she's in school, right? She's in 5th grade in China right now. She just finished 2 years here. Now she's doing this year back in China again. So I got to go back
to Hong Kong.
Shanghai.
Oh, okay, awesome. I used to live in Hong Kong for 3 years.
Well, Hong Kong is a difficult place to live, man. It's expensive.
Well, in 1985, it was cool for a kid.
Oh yeah,
experience, but I'd die to go back there now. But it was great when it was under British rule.
It's hard to live. I know a lot of people will leave Beijing or Shanghai, which are pretty good cities. They try to go to Hong Kong because they just get sick of mainland Chinese, but they come back in a year like, Shanghai. I don't know. A lot of people say Shanghai is a better city to live in these days.
Would it be easier to start this curriculum change in a different country?
Southeast Asia is a good place. They don't this heliocentrism space stuff, you know, they don't have the they don't have a space agency, so that's a big thing. You know, you're not going to find a lot of Thai or Cambodian or Malaysian NASA fanboys. It's pretty non-existent. Actually, that's what I'm thinking of doing, is going back over there and getting back to Southeast Asia and opening a school. More classical liberal, like the trivium and logic and thinking and language, and getting rid of all this government and statism and heliocentrism and evolutionism. Just that's bye-bye. See you later.
Like
it's all nonsense.
Phone-tardism.
And even if that stuff's true, what good does it help, like, the average human trying to deal with this reality we're in now? Like, ooh, dinosaurs. What's that going to do for me? Evolution. Who cares?
It's supposed to put to bed your natural curiosities, because that stuff's just pure evil.
Your mic's screwed.
Seriously,
Jonathan, hold on one second, Eric. Your mic's screwed, Jonathan. You can hardly make out what you're saying anymore. It's suddenly very unclear.
It got unplugged. I'm gonna have to jump out, but you're probably. How long are you going out for?
Oh, what? How long? What? He's gone. Mike's dead, buddy.
I'm sorry. Yeah, apparently when the Yeti gets unplugged, you have to re-enter Google Hangouts. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, and see.
I hate the design of the microphone was terrible right here. This thing, that USB plug should have been somewhere else. Really bad right there because there's nothing to hold it in because gravity pulls it out.
Works for me, but I've got mine on a boom arm thing, and then the cable's pretty much permanent.
Does yours say THX certified on it?
No.
You probably have a newer model because I have one upstairs that a guy gave me for free, and it's like one shop kind of antique store, and it won't record like this one. Vocal like this level is fine, but I tried recording music, and it was like every snare hit was like it's distorting like crazy. I don't think it's not as heavy either. Like
I'm really pleased with mine.
Good.
Now it's mounted on this suspension thing and on a boom arm. It's great. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. What's Phuket World's name? Is it Nick?
Nick, yeah. It's Word.
Nick.
Phuket Word, not World.
I thought it was World.
No, it's like the name of the newspaper. If you imagine it as like the newspaper for Phuket, so it's the Phuket Word. You got it?
All right. No, I think I might settle
so nice
down.
to hear you guys pronounce it properly.
It is Phuket.
Yeah, Phuket.
Yeah.
I originally thought it was fuck it.
Yeah,
I did. I thought it was fuck it. That's exactly what I thought. I thought it was fuck it world. That's what I thought it was when I first read it at a glance. But no, it's Phuket Word.
Word.
I'd just like to offer some scientific proof of evolution.
Oh yeah.
A horse and
Excellent.
a donkey create a mule, which is a different species.
Who said that?
So that's not scientific evidence. That's not.
In
That's
the
not
liger,
establishing
the lion, tiger.
a scientific
And
evidence
what
would
about a
establish
griffin?
a cause of an effect through systematic experimentation based on naturally occurring phenomena. So are you claiming that a donkey, the production of a donkey, the production of a, what would you call it, a mule?
Yeah.
Is somehow scientific evidence of evolution? I think not.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe,
But it's better proof than entropy being proof of creation, at least.
Maybe
I wouldn't claim entropy as proof of creation, but nevertheless, I wouldn't certainly class that as scientific evidence of anything.
Yeah, the answers to those questions, that stuff's gone, man. That's the way to handle that stuff is there's no beginning and there's no end. That's why we enter this and we're not aware of it. We're not aware.
And then there's also the I know the leftist liberal everyone's equal will hate it, but there is a thing called self-segregation. Like I'm sure not just humans do it, but other animals. You know, it's like there's a reason why a Chihuahua can't breed with, let's say, a Rottweiler. I think just the size. I mean, if you could get the sperm into one, I guess you could, but in the natural world, I don't think there's a possible way a Rottweiler is going to mount a Chihuahua.
What do you get if you cross a bulldog with a Shih Tzu?
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit.
I would love that
Kick
dog
him.
too. I
think you'll find.
No, but I mean, there's a lot of evidence that animals look at each other and look for attractiveness and symmetry and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, why would a horse?
Let's put it this way, Eric. Right? I think you'll find if that Rottweiler wants that Chihuahua, it's having it. Let's be honest.
Really? You think that?
Oh yeah.
My dog at the park, when I took him to New York, he had a position going. I was like, what in the, like, there was a puppy chow. Puppy chow. It was like a fuzzball with his face.
Oh,
and it was wrestling with Otis, my dog. And Otis, he's got these dance moves. He would he would chest bump and then spin around. And he spun around and the dog ended up his face in my dog's crotch, and it was in like a hump. My Otis was in a hump position, but the dog had his face. And I was like, what? I've never seen a dog with a like face bang.
Oh, the large dog will get over a small dog, and they'll thrust into the air. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're way off base. Like, but they're still going for it. But yeah.
My dog wakes up once in a while, and he'll just be like, look at me like, what are you doing? Okay. I just let him have his way. I think they may change from dream to reality in a different fashion. I could say it's probably a heavier transition considering that they sleep for 16 hours a day.
Oh yeah, evolution.
No.
Yeah, there's no need for all those questions are like, you gotta look inside for that stuff, you know. And people need to be able to handle no beginning and no end. Because what else can we do except be here? It's always going to look like this. Maybe a different color, maybe a different texture, maybe bigger plants.
Oh, come on. Just SpaceX, we're going to have such a bright future. It's always in the future. I mean, you know, that's what space is. It's always in the future. What happened to all these flying cars and anti-gravity? I mean, weren't they selling that crap in the 40s and 50s? That
it's just
look at
reality. Like the truth is boring. It's plain. It's uninteresting. It's not shiny. It's real. It's what's in front of you.
First Back to the Future.
It's right in front of you. It's always there. You know, when you start devoting your life to seeking truth, you're denying yourself so much, and chances are you're going to get right back to this place. Do it over again, dummy. That's appealing to authority. That's truth-seeking.
Indeed.
You know, you miss out on all the fun. And that's where you find it. Like Truth Seeker Army, I saw there's a web page. I was like, what? Yeah. Like, how fun is that army party?
Right, Anthony, can you hear me?
I can, but I'm having hassle with one of my dogs at the minute.
Okay, you said you wanted a 5-minute warning before we round out and go into the after show. So I'll use the opportunity to plug the second show. So if you missed the first show, the second this show finishes, you can click over to Nathan Oakley channel and catch the repeat along with the pre-show. So that's on Nathan Oakley channel. There's a link in the info box. I will furnish the audience with a link directly to that in a moment. But this show will round out and then that show will start. So check out Nathan Oakley channel. Once this show finishes, we will continue in this hangout and it will get published at 0400 hours UK time. So 4 AM in Britain. And at that time, the after show will go out. So obviously we'll keep chatting here and you'll hopefully be tuned into Nathan Oakley, the backup channel or second channel. And we'll continue to chat here and that'll get published at 0400. You have some pressing point that you wanted to make, Anthony, before the end?
No, I'm being mad because the dogs have seen that the leads have gone into the car and they know they're going somewhere. So I'm just getting fucking shouted at by them. They're like, we want to go now, we want to go now. So they've just been loud all show.
Oh, bye-bye car.
Is my mic okay?
It is.
That's better.
Your dog sounded like it screamed. He was like,
yeah, excitement. Yeah, she doesn't bark properly. She yelps as though like she. It's because she's seen that she put the leads into the car. I got to be careful saying that word because it's a trigger word. But when they see that certain thing happen, they know what happens next, and it's like we're just on our way up for a week away. Like so.
Oh, so they want to go in the car?
Yeah, that's it. Because they know they know that when they get to the other end of the car, they know that they're going somewhere good.
If I say pee-pee or treat, his ears pop up. Yeah, it's funny because he'll only do it 3 times, but if I go beep, I can like auto control his ears.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
the leash.
Nathan Oakley.
Pardon?
Yeah, I'm just putting it in the chat.
How's your dog's breath, Anthony?
They get hide shoe sticks, so it scrapes all the tartar off, and it basically doesn't make them too bad.
But does it smell? Does it smell like food or dog? Does it smell like? It doesn't smell sweet, does it?
No, not sweet. Why? What makes you think that?
It's a sign of diabetes.
And with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, you know exactly what to do. Maybe hit that dislike button and then hit it again. But if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!